On October 27th, 2015, my 3rd and 4th grade students and I took a field trip to Lake Arcadia, a state park northeast of Oklahoma City. Thanks to a grant from Parks and Focus, the homeless students in my class have opportunities to explore and connect with nature. For students who have lived most of their lives indoors in an urban setting, experiences like these are powerful and memorable. On this particular day, I took a photo of one of my 3rd graders, Carter, fishing with the help of one of our outdoor volunteers. I shared the photo to Seesaw, which is an app that we use for our digital portfolios. Seesaw automatically sends a text message to each parent or mentor when a new item is added to their child's folder. While we were still on the field trip, Carter's mom replied with this message, that his dream has always been to go fishing. I'm so happy for my baby. This story of documenting learning and sharing experiences and connecting with a parent may not sound like a big deal, but let me assure you, however, it is a big deal. Connecting with parents and others in our school community is one of the most important parts of my job as an elementary teacher, because we regularly create and share media both inside and outside our classroom. The students in room 108 at Positive Tomorrow School in Oklahoma City are connecting to our world. They are learning that their voices matter and that the words that they choose and the choices that they make shape the people that they are becoming. In Oklahoma, 1 out of every 21 kids are homeless. According to the National Center on Family Homelessness, approximately 1.6 million children in the United States will experience homelessness over the course of a year. In any given day, it is estimated that more than 200,000 children have no place to live. My students would rather be at school than at home. Home changes frequently for students. Sometimes it's a shelter, sometimes it's a motel room, sometimes it's a couch or a bed at a friend's house, and sometimes it's a car. Our school provides stability and predictability for students. Our school is a safe and clean place. Our schedules are predictable so that students know when they're going to eat, and they know that that food is going to be good. All of these things matter tremendously and are a big part of the reasons my students love school. My students have big dreams. They want to be lawyers, dancers, actresses, astronauts, doctors, and even politicians. I have a student, Anastasia, who wants to be a teacher. She and her 3 siblings have lived in 3 separate shelters, numerous hotels, and a condemned house without running water and electricity in this year alone. She has witnessed drug use, violence, hunger, and chronic lice. However, this year, Anastasia never once has given up on learning. When she comes to school, she just wants to be a student and to learn. For her Black History project this year, she created an amazing iMoving trailer and an ebook on astronaut Mae Jemison. Thanks to Nova's Science Now, she was able to learn from Mae Jemison herself and discover that you can be an astronaut, dancer, and an educator. Through rich and engaging media, Anastasia was able to experience and to learn from Mae Jemison herself. Another student, Logan, whose mother is a victim of domestic violence, came to us from a local shelter. He wants to be a politician and work in Washington, D.C. Because of his interest in politics, I have been challenged to understand the issues in this year's elections. Together, my class has learned about the election process and how the Electoral College works. Thanks to the PBS interactive maps, we have kept up with the candidates and followed the debates. Students deserve to have learning media which is current and involves them in real issues. I know that Logan will change the world someday, and I'd like to think that we gave him the tools to develop his dream. When you hear these stories about my homeless students, I do not want you to feel sorry for them. In March of 2016, a volunteer in my classroom turned to me and said, "Well, these students are just like regular kids." And in many ways, she's right. Every student, regardless of their home situation or background, needs and deserves access to not only rich and engaging media, but also the power to create and share that media. Students need to be invited and empowered to make choices, not only about the media that they consume in their learning, but also the media that they create and share both inside and outside the classroom. This school year, I decided to ditch my desks and create learning spaces so that my students could decide when and how they learn best. Students can choose to learn in the classroom iPads, in our reading nook, or on desktop computers, or gather around at our classroom kitchen table. I challenge and empower my students to show what they know using media. We have been creating a classroom radio show using a free app on my iPhone since the start of this year. Student segments in the podcast are not scripted. The class decides on the questions we will discuss, and then the students have time to think about their responses before we record and reflect together. It's amazing to see how my students' communication skills and oral fluency skills have grown as a result of our radio show reflections. When the governor of Oklahoma came to visit our classroom in March of 2016, my students were able to develop a series of questions and lead a radio show discussion with her in front of an audience of adults. By publishing and sharing their ideas, not only in our classroom radio show, but in my classroom YouTube channel and our classroom kid blog site, my students have learned how to connect a real audience beyond our walls of our classroom. My students are developing digital citizenship skills along with literacy skills and are energized as they develop a love of learning. I encourage you to engage with teachers in your local community. Encourage them to not only access risk media, but also to create and share media with their students beyond the walls of their classrooms. Just like Carter's mom was energized by the photo and the text connection we made on our classroom fishing trip, parents and friends of our community will be excited to learn more through media and great learning moments inside and outside the classroom. We change the world one conversation and one relationship at a time. Media is a powerful tool in my teacher toolbox, and I am appreciative to PBS for the ways that they empower me to connect and reach my students as well as their families.